I know this is honestly our biggest story right now.
Yeah, this is the biggest story, and it's the most relevant. This movie just came out this week.
Yes.
And it's the Quiet Place 2, and it broke $48 million in its debut.
Which is insane, because I thought that Spiral did good for a horror movie.
Yeah. And when you compare that to this, it's like nothing.
It's literally an additional $40 million.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, I love Spiral, but this honestly kind of makes me... The reviews out of this make me more excited for A Quiet Place 2 now.
Yeah, and it really shines light on John Krasinski as a director.
And a writer.
Apparently, this is like... Because I guess on the first one, he had a co-writing credit, and this one, he legit wrote it by himself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So...
That's awesome. It definitely kind of shows you that, like, the mind of comedians can get real twisted.
Yeah.
But he is very... I don't know. Like, I loved him in The Office, obviously. Yeah. But it gets me more excited for future roles for him, especially if they're able to do a Fantastic Four with him and his wife.
Yes, definitely.
That would be the ideal casting, to where, like, most people make videos with the thumbnails of him as Mr. Fantastic anyways.
Yeah. And did you see in the press junket for this movie, somebody asked her about Fantastic Four, and she got kind of irritated.
Really?
She's like, you're the third person to ask me that today.
I mean... I'm trying to think of how to say this without sounding douchey. At least it's better than a lot of the questions that women get during press junkets.
Yeah.
Especially if you go back and you watch interviews with, as much as I know you don't like her, I can't think of her name right now, Anne Hathaway. Because she, during her interviews during Dark Knight Rises, all anyone would ask her was... How hard was it to get in the suit? Or what diet did you have to do to get...
Yeah, just all physical-based questions.
And it's the same thing that Scarlett Johansson gets every time she plays Black Widow. To the point where they're like, are you trying to get in the suit or something? Like, are you like... I don't get why you're so obsessed with it.
Yeah, there's nothing deeper that's coming out.
Yeah, and she even says, she's like, why are you giving Robert Downey Jr. all the good questions? And I get, oh, how hard was it? Or what kind of underwear did I have to wear to fucking fit in this skin-tight outfit? Like, it's annoying. So at least she's not getting those kind of questions.
Yeah.
But I can see how it would get annoying to not get something more related to what you're currently in, instead of, oh, do you know if you're going to be able to play Sue Storm over and over and over again?
Yeah, it would get annoying.
Yeah. I mean, once again, though, rich people problems.
Yeah.
So, you could be... working a 9-to-5 job, hating your bosses, and contemplating what your next step in life is.
Yeah.
You, rich people, don't have to think about that, because you've made good decisions and you've got where you are, to where people are excited for your future and literally anticipating a role they think that you're perfect for.
Yeah.
And does not always happen. So instead of getting irritated, I would consider maybe being more grateful in the future for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with like Joaquin.
Oh yeah.
And the Joker question. Like you had to have known you were gonna get like those type of questions.
100%. I think that
I don't think he was really prepared for it.
No, especially because I think he's kind of a special case, because after his brother died, he kind of seemed like he went down a path where he kind of tried to lock himself away from like the public, to where he just had his life behind the camera and his life in front of the camera completely separate.
Yeah.
Which, as a celebrity, is very difficult. Some people are able to pull it off and some aren't. That's why you had that Sia chick for so long.
Yep.
Not show her face, because she wanted to be able to go out in public. It's why you have certain, like, that. It's one of the biggest reasons, like, people like, and another wrestling thing, like wrestlers and luchadors try to wear masks, is so they can have a life outside of their job,
right,
without being bombarded the way that like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and John Cena constantly are.
Yep.
But I mean, I don't know. All I can say is there are worse problems in the world to have. But going back to the original point, though, I am excited more now to see this movie than I was before, just because of the reviews. Because sequels are very hard, especially horror sequels,
and especially this, because like, I don't know, there was definitely room for a sequel at the end of the first one, but it almost didn't need it.
Yeah, especially because not that there was like a level of full finality to what happened in that movie, but you didn't. You could have left that to the imagination, because you're like, okay, now they have a way to kill them all, so there's no reason to like panic anymore.
Right.
The fact that it's not being like admonished for continuing, and it's actually being praised for what it has done, gets me excited, because I hate the trap that a lot of horror movies fall into. Like Saw is one of the few that did good with its sequels. Some of them,
especially the first couple sequels.
Yeah, but you don't get that very often. Like,
yeah.
I think there are very few horror movies that do very good with their sequels. Like, to the point where, like, Halloween, they went back and literally retconned everything after the first movie and redid it again in 2019?
2018.
And then they're doing a sequel to that one too now. I'm like, you're going to fall into the same fucking trap.
Yep. And there's one horror movie, like Exorcist is a really good movie. The second one wasn't good, but it wasn't until the third one that was a good one. So their sequels are kind of weird.
Yeah. And you get that a lot, which is kind of weird. Because, like, I loved Final Destination movies. I think after Final Destination 3, they all go downhill.
Yeah.
And 2 was, in my opinion, kind of iffy, but I loved 3.
And even 3, though, is kind of like, it's cheese, but it's cool.
Yeah. I love Tony Todd. So, like, seeing him get another role besides Candyman made me happy.
Yeah.
But there are definitely, for the most part, diminishing returns on sequels. I think Nightmare on Elm Street did okay overall, sequel-wise.
Friday the 13th, they had a couple good ones.
Yeah.
But that even overstayed its welcome. Texas Chainsaw Massacre really butchered its sequels.
To the point where they've rebooted it like 4 fucking times.
Yeah, now there's another one coming out, I think, next year. He's an old man this
Isn't it
time.
just called Leatherface?
I forget what the title is, but this one is going to take place. I think it's another retcon, and he's going to be like an old man this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know the Psycho sequels were bad up until, was it 3 or 4?
And the Psycho remake with Vince Vaughn was horrible. He was literally a shot-for-shot remake.
I enjoyed it as a character study, and also because it was really fucking weird to see Vince Vaughn in that role. Was it good? No. I still prefer the original, especially because, like, I don't know, there's just certain things that, like, they don't hit the same the second time, especially if you're just doing it again.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows the fucking twist in Psycho. To the point where you're like, I don't think I've actually, like, sat through the whole movie and I know everything that happens. I know all the tropes. I know all the misdirections, like killing off your lead a third of the way through the movie.
Yeah.
Which blew most people's minds. Also, one of the big things at the time was they show a flushing toilet, which people lost their fucking minds about. And then you have the big twist at the end with the mom.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, it's hard to remake something, especially if you're doing it shot for shot.
Yeah.
But I think sequels are just a little bit harder.
Yeah. And from the sounds of this one, it's really exciting. And everyone I've watched a review for said you need to watch it in theaters.
Oh, yeah.
The sound design and stuff.
100%.
Yeah. And then by Monday, it's going to hit like 61 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the only thing that really can compete with Fast and Furious 9.
Yeah, right now, yeah. Because when that comes out, that's just going to make a lot of money anyway.
Yeah.